The road does not hurry. It moves the way water moves when it is almost still, curving without effort, holding its shape without trying. Stones rest along its edges. Old ones, warmed through the day, now cooling. You can feel that cooling through the soles of your feet as you step forward, one pace, then another. Above, the sky has already softened. Not dark, not light, a quiet color that does not insist on being named. A small gate waits ahead. Wood, smoothed by years of hands. It opens with a sound that is more breath than noise. Beyond it, a path narrows, and then widens again, as though it once changed its mind and decided that space was kinder. Lanterns hang at a careful distance from one another. They do not flicker. Their light is steady, held. Each one keeps to itself, illuminating only what is necessary: stones, grass, the pale bark of a tree that leans slightly, listening. You pass beneath the first lantern. The light touches your shoulders, your hands. It does not follow when you move on. Somewhere nearby, water shifts, not rushing. Just the sound of it adjusting to its own edges. A small stream, perhaps. Or a channel cut long ago, now content with its work. The air smells faintly of leaves and something dry. Wood, maybe. Or dust that has learned how to rest. Ahead, a house appears. Not suddenly. It does not surprise you. It simply becomes visible, the way something does when you have been walking toward it for a long time without realizing. The windows are low. The roof slopes gently, as though it once leaned closer to the ground and never fully stood back up. One window is open. Light spills from it, not bright, not dim, just enough. Inside, a table sits near the wall. A chair is pulled halfway back, as if someone stood and forgot to finish the movement. You do not hear voices. You do not expect to. The door opens easily when you touch it. No creak. No resistance. The room inside holds its warmth without making a show of it. The floor is smooth beneath your feet. Worn. Patient. A kettle rests on the hearth. It is not boiling. It is not cold. It exists in the middle space, where things wait. You step inside and close the door behind you. The sound is soft. Final, but not ending. A coat hangs on a hook near the door. Heavy. Familiar. You slip it off and place it there, letting its weight settle. It does not sway for long. On the table, a bowl holds a few stones. Rounded. Chosen. You touch one with your fingertip. It is cool. It does not need to be warmer. The chair by the window waits. When you sit, the wood accepts you without complaint. Outside, the last color of the sky fades into something deeper, slower. The lanterns along the path remain, one by one, doing exactly what they were made to do. Nothing asks for your attention. Time stretches slightly, like fabric easing after being folded too tightly. A clock rests on the far wall. It is not ticking loudly. Perhaps it once did. Now it marks time in a way that does not interrupt. You breathe. The room breathes with you. Somewhere, a beam settles into place. A quiet shift. The sound of a house remembering itself. The window holds the night carefully, as though it has learned how fragile darkness can be. A moth passes through the light once, then is gone. It leaves no mark. Your hands rest in your lap. They feel heavier than before. Not tired, just grounded. As if the weight they carry has finally been set down. Outside, the stream adjusts again. Finds a new shape around a stone. Keeps it. The lantern nearest the window hums softly. Not a sound meant to be heard, exactly. More a suggestion. Like warmth against skin. Nothing needs to happen. Nothing is expected. The chair supports you. The floor remains steady. The walls hold the space between them without effort. This place has been here before you arrived. It will be here when you are ready to move again. For now, it is enough to sit. To listen. To let the night finish arriving. The room remains as it was. Nothing has shifted. Nothing needs to. And yet, after a while, there is a sense of motion, not forward, not away. More like the slow turning of a page that was already halfway open. You rise from the chair. The wood gives a small sound, not a protest, just an acknowledgement. Your feet meet the floor again. The coolness is familiar now. It does not surprise you. Near the hearth, a shelf holds a few simple things. A cup. A folded cloth. A shallow dish with water so still it reflects the ceiling beam above it, steady and unbroken. You pass your fingers through the water once. The surface closes behind them without comment. The kettle is lifted. It is warm enough to hold. You pour, slowly. The sound is soft, rounded. Steam rises in a thin line, then disappears, as though it never intended to stay. You carry the cup to the window. Outside, the path is visible in pieces, lantern light, shadow, light again. Between those spaces, the dark rests comfortably. It does not rush to fill anything. You sip. The warmth moves downward at its own pace. No hurry. No direction beyond where it already knows to go. A sound drifts in from somewhere farther than the stream. Wind, perhaps. Or leaves adjusting to the cooling air. It moves through the trees without disturbing their shapes. You lean your shoulder lightly against the window frame. The glass is cool, solid. It holds the outside where it belongs. Beyond it, the trees stand close together. Not crowded. Just near. Their branches overlap slightly, creating small pockets of shadow that do not fully separate from one another. A lantern flickers once, briefly, then steadies. It does not apologize. You turn from the window and walk toward the far side of the room. There is a narrow door there, half hidden by a hanging cloth. The fabric is thin, woven loosely enough that light passes through in softened lines. You lift it and step beyond. The room on the other side is smaller, lower ceiling. The air feels different here. Quieter, somehow. As if it has learned how to hold silence more carefully. A bed rests against the wall. It is simple. Linen smoothed by use. A blanket folded at the foot, waiting. You do not lie down yet. Instead, you sit at the edge. The mattress gives slightly beneath your weight, then settles. The movement travels outward and stops, contained. You remove your shoes. Place them side by side. They remain where you leave them. Your feet rest on the floor. There is a small table near the bed. On it, a candle. Unlit. Beside it, a book with no markings on the cover. You open it once, then close it again. The pages do not insist. You leave it there. Back in the main room, the clock marks another moment. Quietly. It does not announce it. You return to the chair by the window, carrying the cup with you. The liquid inside has cooled slightly. It is still good. Outside, the sky has deepened further. The last trace of color dissolves into something even, wide, and unmeasured. A bird shifts on a branch. One sound. Then nothing. You notice your breathing again. Not because it changed, because it has been steady long enough to be felt. The lanterns remain. The stream continues its work. The house holds. Time does not move forward so much as it spreads out, thinning, becoming easier to rest within. You finish the drink and place the cup on the table. It makes a soft sound when it meets the wood. Final, but not significant. You sit back. Your hands find the arms of the chair. They are smooth. Warmed now by contact. Outside, the path remains empty. Inside, the air rests exactly where it is. And somewhere between the two, a quiet settles, not as an ending, not as a beginning. Just as a presence. Something that stays while nothing else needs to happen. Time loosens its grip. Not all at once. Just enough to notice that it is no longer being held tightly. You sit, and then you do not sit. You stand, and then standing becomes simply another way of being still. The difference matters less now. The house continues its quiet work. Somewhere within the walls, wood shifts as the night cools it. A single, gentle sound. Then nothing follows. The house does not repeat itself. You walk again, slowly, without destination. Your hand trails along the wall as you pass. The surface is uneven in places. Old repairs. Careful ones. Each mark left where it belongs. Near the hearth, a small window sits low to the ground. You kneel to look through it. Outside, the earth is close here. Dark soil. A scattering of pale stones. A fern uncurling slightly, responding to the deeper night. Nothing watches back. You rise and move toward the door, opening it just enough to feel the air beyond. Cool. Clean. It carries the scent of damp ground and distant bark. You do not step outside. You close the door again, gently. The latch settles without a sound. Back near the table, the bowl of stones catches your attention once more. You lift one. Turn it in your palm. Its shape fits easily, as though it has practiced. You set it down again among the others. They shift slightly, then become still. The lanterns outside remain unchanged. Inside, the light has softened further. Shadows lengthen, not stretching, just easing outward, finding places to rest. You return to the smaller room. This time, You lie back on the bed. The mattress receives you. The blanket is pulled partway up, not all the way. Enough. The ceiling above is low, close enough to feel present, not pressing. You stare upward for a while. There is a beam crossing the ceiling. One knot in the wood resembles nothing in particular. It does not become anything if you look at it long enough. You turn onto your side. From here, you can hear the stream more clearly. It does not grow louder. It simply becomes closer, as though distance has relaxed. The clock marks another moment. Then another. They do not stack. They do not accumulate. Each one arrives and leaves on its own. Your breathing continues. In, out. Sometimes it pauses, just slightly, between. You do not correct it. The candle on the small table remains unlit. It will not be needed. The room already knows how to be seen. Somewhere far beyond the house, something moves through the trees. Not fast. Not slow. The sound is vague enough to be anything and nothing. You do not follow it. Your hand rests on the blanket. The fabric is soft from use. Not worn thin. Just familiar with being touched. The long middle stretches. It does not ask where it is going. It simply exists, wide enough to hold wandering thoughts as they pass through and drift away again. One appears unformed, incomplete, and then dissolves before it finishes arriving. Another follows, then leaves. You are not keeping track. The house does not keep track either. The walls stand. The floor supports. The roof remains exactly where it should be. Outside, the lanterns continue to hold their small circles of light. Between them, the dark rests comfortably, uninterrupted. The stream changes shape around a stone and then changes back again. Neither shape is kept. Time is no longer a line. It is a space. And you are resting somewhere inside it, without needing to find the edges. Nothing ends. Nothing begins. The night deepens, not by adding anything, but by allowing more to remain unfilled. You breathe. The room breathes with you. And the long middle continues, unmarked, unmeasured, wide enough to hold you exactly as you are. The night finishes its work without announcing it. There is no moment when it happens. No clear line where one thing becomes another. Only the sense that the space around you has grown softer, thicker, as though the air itself has learned how to rest. You lie still. The blanket is drawn a little higher now. At some point, your hand moved. Or perhaps the blanket moved on its own. Either way, it rests where it should. The house holds a deeper quiet. Not emptiness. Not silence exactly. More like a careful listening, practiced and patient. The kind that does not lean forward. The clock no longer seems separate from the room. Its marking of moments has blended into the background, like a sound heard for so long it becomes part of the walls. Outside, the lanterns remain, but their light has changed. Not dimmer, just gentler, as if the glow has settled inward, content to stay where it is rather than reach. The stream continues, steady and unremarkable. Water passing water, shape meeting shape and letting go. You turn once more, slowly. The mattress responds and then becomes still again. The movement does not travel far. It does not need to. Your breathing has found a rhythm that does not belong to thought. It moves without instruction. In, out. Between them, a pause that lingers just long enough to feel complete. The beam on the ceiling fades slightly from view as the light shifts. It does not disappear. It simply stops asking to be noticed. Your hands rest close to your chest now, fingers relaxed, no longer holding anything. The weight of them feels distant, as though it belongs to the bed more than to you. The room stays. The walls do not close in. They remain where they have always been, keeping the space intact without effort. Somewhere in the house, a board settles with a soft, final sound. The kind that happens once and then never again. It does not echo. Outside, the trees are still. Even the air between the branches has stopped moving. The path beyond the door lies empty, not waiting, not expecting footsteps. It knows it will be there later. That is enough. Your attention drifts, not outward, not inward, just away from edges. Thoughts slow until they are no longer shaped like thoughts at all. They become impressions, sensations, then less than that. The warmth of the blanket, the steady presence of the bed, the faint sound of water, softened by distance. Each one arrives, each one fades. Nothing replaces them. The house breathes. You breathe. The space between becomes indistinguishable. There is no need to hold the night anymore. It has settled fully now, not pressing down, not pulling away. Simply present, like a hand resting nearby without touching. The lanterns outside continue their quiet vigil. Inside, the light has learned how to disappear without leaving darkness behind. The stream keeps moving, though you no longer hear it clearly. Its work continues without sound. Time has loosened completely. There is no before. There is no after. Only this gentle, even moment, wide enough to hold everything and ask for nothing in return. Your breath moves, then pauses, then moves again. And somewhere between one breath and the next, the last edge of waking thought softens, releases, and drifts away, leaving you exactly where you are meant to be.